I thought it would be fun. Just a new VR horror game everyone was hyped about. The developers promised unparalleled realism and adaptive AI. Sounded dope. I strapped in, put on the headset, and loaded into some dimly lit house. The kind that creaks even when you're not moving. Shadows shifted in the corners. The AI whispered things, nothing crazy, just ambient noise, whispers. Then I noticed something weird. The furniture looked familiar. The couch was my couch. The paintings on the wall were mine. I ran to a window. The cityscape outside, my block. At first I thought maybe the game had scanned my home or pulled data from my phone, but the details were too perfect. The tiny coffee stain on my table. The crooked frame on the wall. Even the flickering light in my hallway that I kept meaning to fix. I laughed nervously and reached up to take the headset off. But my hands touched nothing. My fingers swiped at empty air where the headset should have been. I tried again, harder this time, clawing at my face. Nothing. My heart pounded as I pulled up the game menu, except there was no menu. The pause screen, the settings, the exit option, all gone. My HUD only displayed a single notification. Update complete. Realism, 100%. Enjoy your stay. I staggered back, chest heaving. This was a prank, right? Some weird viral marketing stunt? I turned toward the door. I could just leave, go outside. But when I reached for the handle, it didn't budge. A cold weight settled in my gut. I sprinted to the window and slammed my fists against the glass. "Hey!" I screamed. "Hey! Somebody help me!" No one reacted. People walked by, real, normal-looking people. But their movements were off, just slightly. A woman paused mid-step, frozen for several seconds before resuming. A man across the street was walking in a loop, retracing the same few feet over and over again. And then, as one, they all turned their heads toward me. Not just looked, turned, like marionettes on strings. My breath hitched. My mind screamed at me to run. But run where? This was my house, or at least it was supposed to be. I took a slow step back, and as if responding to my movement, the figures outside began to move toward the house. A notification popped up in my vision. New patch available. Increased engagement. Before I could react, a knock echoed through the house. Number. Not a knock. A pounding. A rhythmic, synchronized pounding against every door, every window. It wasn't just one or two people. It was everyone outside, knocking in perfect unison. I backed away until my legs hit the couch, my couch, but at the same time, not my couch. I could feel the fabric, the indentations from years of use, but it was wrong, too perfect. Like someone had rebuilt it from memory, but missed something crucial. A voice crackled to life from somewhere in the house. At first, I thought it was coming from the TV, but the screen was off. Then I realized, no, not just the TV. Every speaker, every device, even my phone, was emitting the same distorted voice. User detected. Engagement metrics, low, adjusting. My stomach twisted. "What do you mean, adjusting?" I yelled at nothing. My voice bounced off the walls, swallowed by an unnatural silence that followed. Then the lights flickered. The shadows in the room stretched unnaturally, pooling into the corners like spilled ink. The walls groaned, not like a house settling, but like something alive. The pounding on the windows stopped. The silence was worse. I held my breath, my pulse hammering in my ears. Then, slowly, the doorknob twisted. I scrambled for something, anything, to defend myself. But all I had was a stupid decorative lamp. My fingers tightened around the base as the door creaked open, revealing nothing. Just darkness. A void where my front porch should have been. Then, a single footstep. From inside the house. I spun around, heart slamming against my ribs. The figures that had been outside, they were inside now. But they hadn't walked in. They had shifted. 1 second they were outside. The next, they were standing in my living room. Their faces were wrong, smooth, featureless, like mannequins with skin stretched too tight. And then they smiled, all of them, at the exact same time. "Patch applied," they said in unison. I ran. I didn't know where I was going, but my body moved on instinct. I sprinted for the stairs, taking them two at a time, but the house felt bigger, longer. The staircase stretched like a nightmare, never-ending, warping under my feet. My legs burned. My lungs ached. Still, I climbed. Another notification appeared in my vision. Update in progress. Enhanced persistence mode. Activated. The walls around me twisted, shifting like melting wax. My bedroom door was ahead. Finally, something familiar. I threw myself at it, slamming it shut behind me and locking it. Silence. I pressed my ear against the wood, straining to hear anything. Nothing. No footsteps, no whispers. Then, from behind me, a voice. My voice. "Why are you running?" I spun around. There, standing in the center of my room, was me. Same clothes, same face, but the eyes were empty, hollow, and that same stretched, unnatural smile spread across its lips. It took a step forward, and my HUD glitched. The text warped, unreadable. The screen flickered. My vision blurred. Then, the last notification appeared. "Welcome home." Darkness swallowed me whole. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my living room, exactly as I had been before starting the game. My headset lay neatly on the table. My heart still pounded as I stared at it, breathing heavily. Had it been a dream? A glitch? A cruel trick? Then I noticed something. The crooked frame on the wall was straight now. And from outside my window, a figure watched, smiling. The game wasn't over. It had never ended. I stared at the figure outside my window, my breath shallow and uneven. It didn't move. It just stood there, watching, smiling that same too wide, empty grin. I forced myself to blink. When I opened my eyes again, it was closer. My heart slammed against my ribs. I hadn't seen it move. Had I imagined it? A trick of the light? No. No. I wasn't imagining anything anymore. My stomach twisted into knots, my instincts screaming at me to run. But where? Where? I took a shaky step back. My foot nudged against the coffee table and I nearly jumped out of my skin. I turned away from the window, pulse hammering. I had to get out of here. The door. I rushed to it, grabbing the handle with both hands and twisting as hard as I could. It didn't budge. Locked. I yanked, pulled, threw my shoulder into it. Nothing. A familiar cold weight settled in my gut. I wasn't supposed to leave. This wasn't my apartment anymore. The chat box on my monitor flickered to life again. My eyes snapped to the screen as a new message typed itself out, slow and deliberate. There's nowhere to go. I swallowed hard, staring at the screen. Then another message. Turn around. Number. No, I wasn't going to. I squeezed my eyes shut, forcing myself to breathe. My whole body trembled. I could feel something behind me now. The air was colder, heavier. A presence loomed just inches away, waiting. Then, a whisper, right against my ear, my voice. Turn around. I spun. There, standing inches from me, was me. Same clothes, same face. But the eyes weren't mine. Empty, hollow. And that unnatural smile stretched across its lips, too wide, too wrong. It took a step forward. My HUD glitched. The text warped, unreadable. My vision blurred. The last notification appeared. Welcome home. Darkness swallowed me whole. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my living room, exactly as I had been before starting the game. My headset lay neatly on the table. My heart still pounded as I stared at it, breathing heavily. Had it been a dream? A glitch? A cruel trick? I sat there for a long time, trying to steady my breath, to convince myself that it had all been in my head. That's what I wanted to believe. But then I noticed something. The crooked frame on the wall was straight now, and from outside my window, a figure watched, smiling. The game wasn't over. It had never ended. I jumped to my feet, heart pounding all over again. I refused to look at the window. I refused to acknowledge it. Instead, I grabbed my phone. My fingers shook as I unlocked it. I tried texting a friend. "Something's wrong. Call me." The message didn't send. No signal. No Wi-Fi. I swallowed hard. I turned airplane mode on and off. Nothing. I tried restarting my phone. The screen went black. Then it rebooted on its own. A single notification appeared. "Connection established." Below it, a chat bubble appeared. I hadn't opened a messaging app. The text typed itself out, letter by letter. "You should check the mirror." My hands went ice cold. I didn't want to. I didn't want to check. But I did. Slowly, I turned my head toward the hallway. My bedroom door was slightly open, just enough to see inside. Enough to see the mirror hanging on the far wall. Something moved inside it. I couldn't see it clearly from here. Just a shifting shadow. Something that wasn't quite right. I stepped closer, my breath shaky. The reflection was wrong. My room was reflected back, but certain things were off. The bed wasn't made. The closet door was open just a crack. A dark shape stood in the corner, unmoving. My pulse thundered in my ears. I reached the doorway, my hand gripping the frame for support. Inside the mirror, my reflection stared back at me. Only, I hadn't moved yet. The moment I realized that, my reflection smiled. Then it stepped forward. I stumbled back, crashing into the wall. My reflection walked out of the mirror, crossing the threshold between its world and mine, and then it reached for the light switch. With a single flick, the room went black. Total, suffocating darkness. I heard footsteps. Close. Too close. Then my own voice whispering in the dark. "You don't need to see anymore." I screamed. When the light returned, I was somewhere else. Not my apartment. Not the games house. Somewhere. Empty. A vast white void stretched in every direction, an endless nothingness. The ground beneath my feet was smooth, featureless. I turned, looking for anything, anyone. And then I saw the screens. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Towering in every direction, displaying windows like a control room. Each screen showed my life. Me, sitting at my desk. Me, talking to my friends. Me, getting up, walking around my apartment. Except, it wasn't me. It was him. The thing that had smiled at me from the mirror. The thing that had been watching, waiting. It was living my life. And I was just an observer now. I ran to one of the screens, slamming my fists against it. "Let me out!" I shouted. "Give me back my life!" The screen flickered. For a moment, the reflection of my apartment vanished, replaced by a single line of text. "Player 1 disconnected." I backed away. The screens all around me, hundreds of them, glitched and changed. New reflections appeared. More people, trapped, just like me. And then, on the screen directly in front of me, a figure turned to face me. It was him. It raised a hand and waved. Then, one by one, the screens shut off, and the darkness took me again. It was game over.